program. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Roshan. It is I would first congratulate you for organizing such a wonderful program, Healthcare Tips for public awareness, for creating public awareness. And we have three eminent speakers here on three various topics. They are going to give us the healthcare tips. Most difficult topic and most difficult thing to do is reducing weight. And everybody is concerned about it, I'm sure. So here we have Dr. Bruno, who is a neurosurgeon from Prime Indian Hospital, and he is a senior assistant professor of neurosurgery from Madras Medical College, who has done his post-graduation from Madras Medical College, and I am proud to say who is an undergraduate from Tirunelveli Medical College, who is also where I have done my undergraduation. So he is a famous personality in social media, and who has written a lot of, who authored many books in both medicine and in social activities like health, economics, etc. And he is an awardee in various fields. And he is also one of the nodal officer in Tamil Nadu Accident and Emergency Care Initiative Department of Health and Family Welfare, and who developed protocols for trauma care, which brought down mortality from 8% to 3% in Madras Medical College, one of his biggest achievements. So I would request, without wasting further time, I would request Dr. Bruno to take over to give some tips to reduce weight, especially in this era of COVID era lockdown period. Over to Bruno.
Yeah. Are you
Audio is clear, Dr. Bruno. You have to share your screen.
Yeah, just a
moment. I would request everyone to mute their mic, and if there is any question, you can type it in the chat box. So after everyone's presentation, we can have a discussion.
Yeah. Are you seeing the screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll just
go for the full screen, Dr. Bruno. You can go for the full screen.
Yeah. No, what's the screen?
Yeah, we are watching the screen. Yes.
Sure.
It's clear.
So basically, I'll just rush through. We'll see briefly about energy, storage of energy, what causes obesity and how to manage it, and the role of diet in it. And then we'll answer the questions. So basically, life needs two things. First is it needs food and it needs an oxygen. And the food is needed for two purposes. One is to build the components of the body and then to give energy. And food includes water, minerals, vitamins, proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. And of this, the components of body are built by all these things. That is water, minerals, vitamins, proteins, and carbohydrates, and fats. Everything builds the components. But energy is given by carbs, fats, and proteins. And now how this energy goes is, this energy is transferred by high energy phosphates. And basically any structure, any function in the body depends upon this equation. That is, this adenosine plus phosphate gives ATP, and ATP broken down is used for body functions. Now, coming to this energy can be supplied from either carbohydrates, fats, or rarely proteins. And from the food we intake, the energy is either stored or used. And the use will be for basal metabolism, muscle contracture, or uncoupling of oxidative phosphorylation. And now, when we see the energy, we need to analyze it from the supply and demand part. And we see that the demand is continuous. Heart has to beat continuously, lungs have to work continuously, your kidney has to work continuously, your liver has to work continuously, and your brain works continuously. And more energy is needed for muscles when we are active. But what we do is, we take our food in breaks. You take a breakfast, you take a lunch, and then a dinner. So we need energy in a continuous pattern, but we take food in batches. So we need a storage mechanism. Just like how we have dams or how we have batteries to store water as well as current. And when it comes to storage, we need a fine balance between the storage and use. Suppose we are not storing enough energy, we cannot face emergencies. And if you are storing more, that leads to obesity, overweight, diabetes, PCOD, and low testosterone. So basically, what we can understand is how does someone develop obesity is either if he eats too much, he becomes obese, or if he is spending too little, he becomes obese, or if he is storing too much of energy, someone becomes obese. And what happens in lockdown is, since we are all in home, we tend to eat lot, especially while watching movies or sitting idle, and we are also spending too little. Not especially surgeons or doctors, we don't go for rounds. Like the usual activity is reduced. So essentially, we are the lockdown lifestyle, by eating too much and spending too little, predisposes to an obesity. Now, how to solve this? You can solve this by 3 methods. One is you can eat less, or you have to spend more energy, or the most critical part is you have to store less. Now, let us see, eating less and spending more is easy said than done. So let us analyze how to store less of energy. And here, how does the energy is stored is, you all must have heard about this insulin. Basically, insulin makes fat. And because this makes fat, insulin helps in storing energy. That is, insulin helps in making more fat in your body by various mechanisms, which we need not go into detail. Just remember that insulin makes more fat and makes you more obese. And what happens is, when does this insulin increase in blood? If there is more glucose, as a response, your pancreas secretes more insulin. So in other words, the more glucose in your blood means you are going to become more obese. In other words, the amount of glucose in your blood determines the amount of fat synthesis in the body. It is not the fat you eat which determines the fat synthesis. It is the glucose you eat which makes you fat. Or glucose in the sense, this includes glucose, fructose, sucrose, and all carbohydrates. This is the basic biochemistry. It is not eating fat which makes you fat. It is eating the carbohydrates which makes you fat. And what happens is, fat synthesis depends upon the insulin, fat, and intensity. Now, can you change your genetics? No. But what we can change is, you can change the amount of insulin in blood and become lean. This is the concept behind which we are trying to focus now. So how to reduce fat synthesis? Either you can reduce total intake of food, that is, you can starve, or you can reduce the fat by removing it surgically, that is liposuction, or you can reduce fat by reducing insulin level, or you can reduce fat by increasing your utilization by exercise. So basically, what usually people say is, whenever they discuss obesity, everyone says, okay, eat little, or everyone says do exercise. Okay, both this can be done, but there is also another easier method to reduce the fat in your body, that is by reducing the blood glucose. This is more efficient. What happens when you have got less glucose in blood is, there is less insulin, which means less fat synthesis, which means it starts a vicious cycle and the person becomes lean. So how does a low carb diet help us? The low carb diet, that is when you take less carb and high fat, what happens is, you are doing a chemical liposuction and you are reducing the insulin level, so less fat is produced, and there is gluconeogenesis, that is, energy is got from fat. And so whenever person takes less glucose, he becomes lean. And this is a very easier method to deal with any obesity, including lockdown obesity. Now you may come to ask us a question, why should we reduce carbs? Why not we reduce fat? This is what we need to understand. Now, when you take low carb and low fat, that is starvation. Okay, that is and when you take high carb, it leads to obesity. High carb with low fat or high carb with high fat, both lead to the same problem. So the basic biochemistry is the amount of fat synthesis and the fat deposition in the body does not depend on the fat you eat. It depends upon the carbohydrates you eat. So what happens when you take high fat and low carb? That is called a LCHF, or low carb high fat diet, one of which is paleo. So basically, he sees this is starvation and this is paleo, or this is starvation, this is low carb and low fat, this is low carb and high fat. So what you want, you decide. Now you may ask the next question, will not taking too much fat leads to no problem? No, it doesn't, because human body is designed to eat fat and not designed to eat carbohydrates. Because if you see the biochemistry, our body is designed to increase the glucose levels. There is only one hormone which reduces blood glucose, that is insulin. Every other hormone only increases blood glucose, because evolution wise we were eating fats until 2000 years ago. Only after agriculture started, we have started eating carbs. So basically, if you see, which is the low carb high fat diet, which is physiological, because human body is designed to eat fat. And if you see, you would have heard about all deficiencies. What happens when there is not water? You have dehydration. What happens when there is mineral deficiency? For example, there is a deficiency of iron, you get anemia. What happens when there is a vitamin deficiency? That is, you get vitamin D deficiency is rickets, vitamin C deficiency is scurvy, vitamin A deficiency is xerophthalmia, vitamin B deficiency is beriberi. And what happens when there is a protein deficiency? You get marasmus. What happens when there is a lipid deficiency? You get essential fatty acid deficiency. But have you ever heard about a term called carbohydrate deficiency? Never. Because carbohydrate deficiency does not produce any disease. You have only carbohydrate storage disorders. You don't have any carbohydrate deficiency disorders. And if you want to remember it very easily, you can remember in this modulation, dehydration pathirpinga, anemia pathirpinga, carb deficiency pathirkingla. So the take home message is, when you are eating more and spending less, you can tackle obesity by modifying what you eat. Eat less of carbs and more of fat, and the obesity will be easily tackled. And there's a book also on this topic. You can get it in Amazon, which is called Science and Psychology of Paleo Diet, where I explained it in detail. And now we can go to the questions.
Dr. Bruno.
Wonderful, Dr. Bruno. We will have the discussion after all the speakers
that's nice.
finish there, so that we can club the questions together.
Yeah, sure.
Can you stop sharing your screen?
Yeah. Just a moment. Just okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
ரொம்ப அருமையா சொல்லிருக்கீங்க. Now I would invite Dr. Vijay Kumar, who has done his diploma in child health from Institute of Child Health, EGMO, and who has done his pediatrics nutrition from Boston University, who is the head of the Department of Pediatrics from Prashant Hospital at Velachery, and who is practicing pediatrician in Pediacare Clinic from Pallikaranai. Can you ask Dr. Vijay Kumar to give some tips on pediatric healthcare? Dr. Vijay Kumar, please.
Welcome, sir. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Dr. Vijay Kumar, practicing pediatrician from Velachery. So I have some few ideas. 1 minute. I think thanks to Roshan for this wonderful opportunity. Okay, you have done an excellent job. I think we are in par with what was going on today. So we have a lot of information. We are just sharing what is happening and the need of the hour, what is happening in this COVID era. So play and regular schedule or other thing. So keep everything structured and learn through playway method. A smaller kid, we can just make them some simple calculations, play, or some small things. We can just go through the playway method. And some kids want to just browse online. So you make it as a safe thing. When you are around, just make it in a proper way, help them. Some kids want to just talk to their grandparents, their cousins, their friends, and they want to just browse. So you can just help them in a better way when you are around. You can just encourage it in a proper thing. So as in a supervised manner, you can just do that. And again, one more thing I want to just go ahead is family harmony at home. This is mostly needed. Everybody are stressed out. Everybody are just, we are left with very least options, and our stress level is going up. So try to maintain a family harmony. That is good for even pediatric age group also. Just keep calm and manage our stress. There are a lot of ways we can just go through it. So even yoga, walking, cycling, whichever is possible under your limits or in your household schedules, you can just go ahead. Again, just bad behaviors we should not be encouraging. So there are a lot of misbehaviors which is happening during this season, and we can just educate our kids about the bad touch and other thing. This is need of the day. So you can talk to your kid, so you can just educate them what is happening and what is bad touch. Even elder, even teenager or even a toddler, if they are able to communicate better, you can just have a proper one-to-one conversation so that you can educate them in a better way. And exercise or play together, this we mostly does, so we can just go ahead. So just for toddlers, keep your TV time or mobile time just minimum to 1 hour a day, or 1 hour in the morning and 1 hour in the evening. So that too in a supervised way. So don't make them to just rely more on TV or mobiles. That will spoil them and they get more addiction, and you can't just get them back again when you just come out of this COVID time, another thing. So encourage reading habits. That is gone from beginning. So we can just encourage our kids to read more. We can give simple books, simple newspapers, few topics, and you encourage them so that will have a better reading habits can be inculcated, at least as for now. So engage them with drawing. So as I said, we can just make them just to draw some pictures. You can help them. You can just give an outline. You can just saw some picture from the net or download it, let them color it, and making some patterns, and you can just ask them to just do some charts, scrapbooks, everything. We can just do it. Either it's another need is we can just do dance to music, or even if we can just sing a song, so that will make them enjoyable and just go ahead. So ideas with teens, these are all the tough persons to communicate or just to go through and make them keep occupied. So we can ask them to just cooking some favorite dishes. We can just help them, or we are just making us to help, and sharing household works together that can just make them more occupied. Talk to them about their favorite sports, interests, friends, whatever it may be. So just have a better conversation and a healthy conversation. Exercise together. A teen, even we do want to exercise, you can just have some music and you can just do some walking or cycling, and we can just do some jobs together. So teach and reinforce everyday prevention actions. So whatever kid the age is, you can just teach them and reinforce whatever you want to do, the prevention actions, so you can keep on just going ahead. I advise the parents to be a good role model in hand washing for the kids. Okay, so if you are doing in a proper way and you are doing it in a proper thing, definitely the kids would be following, and if you are educating them, definitely they are able to do in a better way. So children need healthy eating to grow and develop. So mostly the diet is most important. Previously I said, so children need a balance to just make them active, and just have already they are having a limited physical activities. You can encourage them to have a better thing, and as a parents you can learn more about whatever ways you can just protect your children. So again, stress, already I told you, everybody is stressed out. Definitely it's needed. So we can just go when a kid is unable to express, or they are feeling anxious, there are a lot of abnormal eating patterns, sleeping patterns, which is happening during this time. So it can be addressed well. And aggressive behavior, again, so that is more, the kids are more stressed out, they are behaving more aggressively. So try to just control them and just have some simple ways to just manage stress. So prevention aspect, just as a pediatrician, I want to just insist, First thing is social distancing. Mostly we are following it. Hand hygiene, I told you previously. Healthy food habits, it's definitely mandatory, even for us, for kids also. Both of us can follow a proper healthy food habits and just try to have a proper check on what we eat and what snacks we take. So, and we can just, as Bruno said, we can just go ahead in a better way, low carb and just good fat diet. So we can just go ahead, we decide what we are just taking it. Again, more fluids to get hydrated. Summer is on, so still the sun is scorching. So we can just have more juices, even water, anything to just make us hydrated. Vitamin supplements, I want to have a special mention. So nowadays, we can just give a multivitamin preparation. More than that, for viral infection prevention or antiviral thing, particularly they recommend vitamin C and zinc. These preparations are available for us, toddlers or infants as drops, and for elders, we have some vitamin preparation, vitamin C and vitamin zinc. So that is having a better effect in prevention of corona, even any viral infection. So you can just have an extra supplements of vitamin C and D together, and also zinc. Vaccines, already I told you, so there is need of the hour. You can just go and proceed with vaccines. So no need to hesitate. Clinic are just kept safe only for vaccination. Most of the clinics are open. So you can get your vaccinations done for your kid or toddler, whatever it may be. Stress management, definitely we need to have some ways of stress management we should follow. So anyway, thanks Roshan for the wonderful opportunity. If there is any questions pertaining to your thing or kid or anything else, I'm ready to answer. Thank you. Thanks for that.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vijay Kumar.
Thank you, sir.
Wonderfully, nicely explained the part. So can I ask you to stop sharing the screen?
Yeah, fine.
Yes. So the next, we have Dr. Roshan Ryan, who is the man behind this entire show, who is a MDS specialist pediatric dentist and a US board certified orthodontist with more than 15 years of clinical experience and 11 years of teaching experience, who is the alumni of prestigious Madras Government Dental College. He is a pioneer in dental sedation in Tamil Nadu and one among the few forerunners in India, and who has done a lot of dental health diary in pediatric age group. Parental Guide is a booklet authored by him for the public awareness program, and he conducts a lot of workshops regularly, and he hosted a website recently called Tooth Trauma, and another one what he is doing right now is Makkal Nalan. So we can explain and discuss in detail about Roshan Ryan for the entire period of this discussion. So before that, I would request Dr. Roshan Ryan to give some tips for oral health care. Dr. Roshan. You are muted. Yes.
You will be here?
Yeah,
we can hear you.
Yeah. Thank you, one and all, my friends and well-wishers and professional colleagues who have given consent to talk on their respective specialty. Wonderful being here in this platform. And I'll just go through the outline for today. I'll be giving you some tips on tooth brushing, a few tips on diet with a small video on diet, especially for children, tooth color change and what it can have some impact on the issues, what we can anticipate. When a tooth fall or trauma happens, what we need to do immediately. A note on stress and oral health, what are the things which can happen inside the mouth. And new age dental issues which are creeping up in today's generation of people. Okay. And a few common advices and a take-home message. Okay, the first question everybody asks us is what is the best toothpaste available in the market? Okay, there is nothing like, there is no best toothpaste in the market. But ensure that whenever you buy a toothpaste, you see the packet, okay, the toothpaste should contain fluoride. If it's a fluoride containing toothpaste, that toothpaste is scientifically tested to be a very good toothpaste. And don't generally take over the counter anti-sensitivity toothpaste for your dental use. So preferably try to use a very minimum amount of toothpaste in your toothbrush. What we call it is a pea size. Okay. Nelakkadala alavu அப்படினு சொல்வாங்க. Pea size is the right amount of toothpaste to be used. Do not take too much of toothpaste in the brush when you brush. Always encourage children or when you brush to stand in front of the mirror and brush. This ensures that psychologically you are reinforcing your mind that teeth is very important in our body. It is the gateway to our general health. Okay, if you maintain it very well, you can have good hygiene for your entire body. So always encourage people in your house to stand in front of the mirror and brush, and encourage 2 minutes of minimum brushing time. If you brush less, also it is not good because you will not be able to clean very efficiently. If you brush for more time, also it is not good because toothpaste has abrasives in it. Okay, the abrasives are meant to polish your teeth, and if you try to do for more amount of time, these abrasives can wear out your enamel on the long run. You will end up with sensitivity. Sensitivity Tamil la koochonu solvaanga. So ideal brushing time is only 2 minutes. So some other tips are, if you see a toothbrush like this happening in your house, if the brushes are getting frayed, what we call, if it is happening within 1 week to 2 weeks or 2 to 3 weeks, this can happen only in 3 months. It should happen only in 2 to 3 months. If it is happening within a month, less than 2 weeks, that means your brushing technique is wrong. You have to check with your dentist and get your brushing technique altered. Okay. After cleaning your teeth, ensure to clean your tongue also. Dental flossing is a very, very recommended tool. This is in the West and all, everybody does it. In India, very few do it. If you can practice this habit, you can learn how to do it from YouTube also, and you can check with your dentist also. And if you can do this, nothing like that, this helps to clean it up in between teeth, the dirt accumulation very well. Diet. When it comes to diet, I always recommend this 4M. Okay. So eating time should be moderate. It should not be very long nor very short. If you eat in a shorter duration of time, you tend to eat very much more. If you tend to eat for a longer duration of time, what happens is the soft deposits of the diet gets deposited over the tooth, which can lead to cavities in the long run. So our moderate eating time is about 15 to 20 minutes, and moderation of bad food, that is 2 in a week, about 2 exposures of junk food can be done, because we cannot say don't eat junk food or don't eat fried stuff or don't eat some chips and all those things, fizzy drinks. So more intake of water. Ideally, what we recommend is 20 kilogram body weight individual should take at least 1 to 1.5 liters of water. Okay. So according to your weight, you can calculate, and monitor toothbrushing. Monitor toothbrushing in the sense 2 minutes of brushing, standing in front of the mirror and brushing like that. So for this, I would like to put a small video for you, for especially for children. We have done a small video. I'll just show you that.
We couldn't see the video.
Oh, sorry.
You have shared only the PowerPoint, I think.
Okay.
You have to share your entire screen.
Okay. Something is happening. I'll just check. Wait just a minute.
No, you have to share the entire screen. You stop sharing and then again start sharing with entire screen.
It's not coming in the select window.
Don't select the window. Give entire screen.
Okay. Maybe I'll put it in the last. Maybe I'll just put it in the last. Maybe. Okay.
Yeah.
Just go with the presentation. Now you are able to see my screen? No.
Not yet fully. It is started screen sharing.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, it's coming now.
Yeah. So the color change, if you see some white lesions like this indicates early sign of decay. The person can land up with decay in these spots because of deposits of food here. This color change indicates tooth has got a hit over a long period of time, maybe 3 to 4 years down the lane or more than that also. This kind of color change or some white spots indicates excess fluoride in the body. Okay, so fluoride are always considered like a double-edged weapon. If it is very good if it is given in the right quantity. It is very bad if it is more in the body. Okay, it can land up with dental fluorosis. So this is another condition called molar incisor hypomineralization, very common in children. Okay, so this is a defect of the enamel formation itself because of lot of issues being told hypothetically. This is called molar incisor hypomineralization. The hypothesis being like during the birth period, any kind of issues during that point of time, prolonged labor time or fetus under stress, what they call, all those things are issues for these kind of problems in children. Tooth trauma, okay? Anything like this can happen very commonly in this generation of children as well as adults. The first and foremost thing you immediately need to think about is ice pack, okay, to control bleeding, okay? Never panic and think about ice pack immediately to control bleeding. That is the first and foremost thing. And the golden time in which you need to bring the patient to the dentist is within 60 minutes. To a nearby dental office, you need to run within 60 minutes. And anything like this can happen. The tooth can completely come out of the socket. And if you can reach the dentist within 60 minutes, this can be reimplanted inside the mouth. But when you carry the tooth, there are some precautions you need to take. The do's and don'ts I'll tell you. The ideal carriage medium is normal milk. Okay, it's not a hot milk or cold milk, normal milk. Otherwise, tender coconut water or contact lens solution if it is available in the house. These are also considered good storage media. But storage in a medium, you should carry it and never carry it in water or packed in a paper. Dry medium is not recommended. And you should not scrub the tooth to clean the tooth with a toothbrush or something like that. Maybe you can just wash it with water, but never touch the root surface. Root is the inside part of the tooth. You should never touch it. And if you can carry it like this to the dentist immediately, they can reimplant the tooth inside the mouth and ensure good life for the tooth. Okay. So this is a tooth trauma. When it happens, you need to be aware of. When you have teeth alignment like this, if it is crooked in nature, it is not only for cosmetic reasons we need to correct these kind of teeth alignment issues, for functional reasons also. Functional means for better maintenance of oral hygiene. If your teeth are a little crooked like this, or if it is very crooked like this, you will not be able to clean and maintain teeth very effectively. So in these kind of situations, you need to align the teeth very well so that you have better hygiene maintenance and you don't land up with cavities in the long run and gum issues. Sleep is considered a very golden thing for us. We have lost sleep because of so much of stress and of a busy lifestyle. Okay, so if you have good sleep, it is very important for our body to re-energize. So when you land up with stress, you lose your sleep. Okay, when this kind of things happen mentally, you can land up with oral issues also, like what you see here. Some mouth ulcers keep coming often. Okay, you should think about this. You can start grinding your teeth and you can land up with a joint headache and all those things. Okay, like this, you can land up with this joint, what we see is a temporomandibular joint, what we call. You can land up with pain in this area. You can land up with migraine kind of headache. Okay, and you land up with some kind of white patches inside the mouth, which is called lichen planus. Okay, and also gum diseases, you are very prone when you have a lot of stress, and this will implicate on your oral health also. So snoring, actually pioneer of snoring is here for us today in the platform. So Dr. Vijay Krishnan is there. He will enlighten you. But snoring in children and adults have become a very common new age issue which is happening, because of which there are a lot of oral health issues happening, because of which the main ENT issues, people are taking more care of about that. And it also affects your general health, your heart, your cardiac health, everything. Okay. So I don't want to go extreme details about it. Dr. Vijay will be the best person to answer about this. When you have food lodgement inside the mouth, after eating especially, you don't ever use a toothpick. Okay, never use a toothpick, and maybe flossing will be recommended. And this is a very good tool. I advise generally to all my patients, and this is called water flosser. about water flosser usage, you can just log into YouTube and see how to use it. The trade names in which it are available are called Waterpik, Oracura, etc. And this is a very effective tool to clean dirt in between your teeth. And take it from me, dirt always accumulates first in between your teeth. Then only it spreads around your teeth. So if you start cleaning the in-between teeth dirt, the number of dental problems you land up in the long run is going to be very, very minimal in nature. So coming to few questions, generally what my patients ask or my clients ask or my dentists ask, my colleagues or friends always ask me, why is dental treatment very costly? Okay, why is it very expensive? Okay, so that is one of the main questions people ask me when I go out, or my patients will ask me. The reason I always say is you have to think about prevention in dentistry. Okay, if you don't think about prevention in dentistry, you are going to spend a lot of time with your dentist. You are going to spend a lot of money with your dentist, and your whatever dental procedures you are going to do in your dental office is going to be very painful for you. Okay, so there is we always call it as a ratio. It is called 1:16 ratio, wherein the 1 rupee spent on preventive care saves about 16 rupees on therapeutic care. Therapeutic means you go drill, fill, etc. Okay, suppose you're going to spend about 100 rupees on preventive care, you're going to save about 1,600 rupees on therapeutic care. Okay, so take this from me. And moreover, why it is costly is there are a lot of materials involved in it, and the procedures whatever we do are very fine in nature. It's all we talk in only millimeters. Okay, so when we in any procedure, any professional work which is done in millimeters or less than millimeters are always very intricate procedures. So we generally use a lot of finer tools in that. So these tools become very expensive in nature when we do it. And the materials, whatever, it is not like just coming, writing a prescription and going. Okay. So we have to spend a lot of materials on your teeth. They're very biocompatible in nature, which has to stay in your mouth for a very long period of time. So, and there is a lot of lab work involved in it. Okay. So that is why it becomes very costly in nature. Okay. So just think about a lot of preventive care. You can save a lot on your therapeutic needs. And always, when the person goes to a dentist, or not for dentist per se, to any healthcare worker, they always ask for a referral. And when it comes to dentists, they always insist on a referral. Tell me a good dentist to whom I can go to. Okay. Why this question arises in a patient or a client? The reason why it arises is always this is something to do with the very personal hygiene of the patient, personal hygiene of the client. And take it from me, minimum time we spend with a dentist in a dental office, a patient, minimum time spent is about 30 minutes. In this lockdown era, we are spending about 1 hour with the patient. Okay, because a lot of disinfection protocols, a lot of sterilization protocols involved in it. So the minimum time taken by a dentist to see a patient and dispense a patient takes about 30 minutes. Okay, in that 30 minutes, there is a lot of chatting going on between the dentist and the client. Okay, so they talk about a lot of personal things. They talk about their family. They talk about their work, and the dentist also questions. And the appointment can go till 3 to 4 hours also. Okay, at the max. Okay, because they keep the patient outside, then they call back inside. So there is a lot of relationship happening. There is a lot of relationship developing between the patient and the client and the dentist. So that is why always a patient always looks for a good referral when it comes to going to a dentist. Okay. So my recommendation for you is when you visit a doctor, always get a word of mouth recommendation and then visit a doctor. That is always my piece of advice to you. Even if there is online visibility for the doctor, get a word of mouth recommendation and then visit a doctor. So the take home message for the day is a fluoride containing toothpaste, 4 M's for diet. Okay. Ice pack is a first aid for trauma. 60 minutes golden time for tooth fall. Brushing time should be 2 minutes. And stress and snoring can spoil your oral health. These are new age issues. And water flosser is a good choice for food lodgement issues in between your teeth. Coming to the COVID-19 pandemic, everybody says stay home, stay safe. I would like to say at this juncture, stay positive and avoid negativity. And face mask and gloves, which has been our bread and butter in dentistry, has been made mandatory for every individual born in this world right now. Okay, so it is, which we are used by dentists and other healthcare workers, has become a mandatory issue for everybody born in this world. So now you will be realizing how important is a mouth and how important is touching another person. Okay, so stay positive, maintain social distance, and stay away from negativity. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, Dr. Roshan. It was a very precise presentation.
Thank you.
On especially the health tips on dental care. So before getting into the discussion part, I would like to announce about the next series, that is series number 2 on Health Pep Talk on coming Sunday, 14th of June. We have 3 topics. One is for eye care by Dr. Kavita Kalaivani from Shankar Netralaya and Dr. Jyotsna Dasaraju for skin care, skin and sun, and she's from Skin and Laser Clinic, and myself will be talking on Save Your Hearing, about hearing preservation and ear care. So with that, we will come into the discussion part. The first question is from Mr. Jayaraman Subramaniam. What is insulin resistance and its role in obesity, to Dr. Bruno?
Okay.
Dr. Bruno?
Yeah. No, I'm just trying to. No, I'm coming up. Just a moment. Are you hearing me?
I am able to hear you, bro.
Yeah, then no problem. So basically, the insulin resistance. Can I share the screen? I think I.
Yeah, that's what.
Just a moment. I'll just, there's a slide for this. I'll just post it and then I'll explain. Yeah. Are you seeing my screen?
Yeah.
So now you see that various functions of insulin. So insulin has lots of functions. Now here, if you see, 4 of these functions are associated with fat synthesis. Okay. So what happens is when the insulin in your body, which is the insulin in the blood, is sucked inside the fat tissue, what really happens is there is no insulin for all these actions. That is, there is no insulin for increasing glucose uptake, for glycolysis, for glyconeogenesis, all this part in bread. There is no insulin to do these actions. This condition, you call it as insulin resistance. So basically what happens is, so these are the functions of insulin in other tissues. What you see here, this is the function of insulin in other tissues. This is the function of insulin in fat tissues. So insulin resistance is essentially all the insulin going inside the fat, so that even though there is more secretion of insulin by pancreas, the functions listed in this page does not happen. So what really happens is the insulin, there is because of the increased fat tissue in the body, the fat tissue has lots of insulin receptors. So whatever the insulin which is coming in the blood is taken by the fat tissue. That is, it is like you see if there is a water coming in your corporation pipe, if one house they put a motor and suck it, the other houses will not have water for their use. Or in other words, suppose if everyone has a well, suppose there is 1, 2 or 3 people putting a bore in that region, they take all the water, then the wells become dry. Same way, when the fat in the body increases, that is when the person is obese, the entire insulin which is secreted by the pancreas is sucked inside this fat tissue, leaving no insulin for liver or skeletal muscle. This condition, you call it as insulin resistance. over a period of time, the pancreas secretes more and more insulin, and then it becomes dry, and then you develop diabetes. So first you develop obesity, then you develop diabetes. And what happens after diabetes? When you develop diabetes, if you are not treating the diabetes properly, there is no insulin and no fat synthesis, and the patients at that time start becoming lean. So if you see a life cycle of untreated diabetes, first there will be obesity, then the patient will become diabetic, and in the advanced stage of diabetic, the patient will again become lean because there is no insulin.
Okay, nice.
Super,
So,
very nice.
the next question is from Chitra Ravindran. Can you suggest some food which have fat, less carbs, especially for South Indian? And I would also ask which has more fat?
No, the problem is, what we need to understand is we need to reduce carb so that we are reducing the insulin spike in our blood. And when you reduce the insulin spike, that itself is enough in most conditions. So avoid any food which has glucose in it. That is, let us start with the simple point. Category 1 will be you have to avoid all types of sugar. That is sugar, jaggery, palm sugar, honey. The achi vellam, nattu chakkara, karpati, kalkandi, everything has to be avoided. Basically, there's a problem in our society, especially media has been spreading a big lie that only the white sugar is bad, but this nattu chakkara and honey and that karpati are good. No, everything is bad. But many people think that if they take this nattu chakkara or achi vellam, they won't get diabetes. That's a big lie or myth which is propagated by the mainstream media. So first and foremost, you have to avoid sugar, honey, jaggery, palm sugar. That is first step. If you avoid this itself, you will lose 1 kg per month very easily. The second step is you have to avoid all the snacks which are based on carbs. So almost all our snacks, this murukku, mixture, everything is based on carb only, either by millets, wheat or rice. So first step is you can start avoiding the things which are obviously sugar. That is Pepsi, Coke, Bovento. Again here there will be a big myth. That is Pepsi is bad, Bovento is good. No, both are bad. First step, you stop all open clear sugars. Second stage, you stop all the snacks. If you stop all the sugar, you lose 1 kg per month. If you stop sugar plus all snacks, you will lose 2 kg per month. This itself is good. If you are not a diabetic, this much will be enough. If you are also diabetic, then you also reduce the amount of carbs. So the basic carbs are either rice, wheat, maida, millets, oats, corn. And in vegetables, potato, that is urlakilangu, sweet potato, chakravalli kilangu or chini kilangu, tapioca, maravalli kilangu, yam, karnakilangu, senakalangu. All these vegetables, if you are avoiding, that itself will bring your sugar level down and will also reduce the fat synthesis in the body.
Okay.
So take less of rice, more of vegetables or non-veg.
For vegetarian?
Vegetarian, again, take less rice, more vegetables.
No, only vegetable you mean, then how will be the protein?
Protein is in vegetable.
And fat?
Protein is in vegetable.
Fat?
Fat is in many vegetables. The fat, again, what we have to understand is fatty acids are in vegetables. If you are taking, even in curd, you have got fat. In the cheese, butter, you have got fats.
No, for example, for a paleo diet, for a non-vegetarian, they take a lot of egg and chicken along with olive oil or something like that. So for a vegetarian, what is the alternative we have? See, we have to have that sufficient enough of energy per calorie.
Actually, my point is you don't concentrate on what to take. You just try to concentrate on what to avoid. It is not
because
that
almost everything what we regularly take.
No, I'm not asking you to avoid it totally. Avoid sugars totally. Avoid snacks totally. This two itself will go a long way.
Okay.
It is not that a
Right.
low carb diet is not taking chicken and egg and mutton. No. Low carb diet is avoiding plain sugars as much as possible. Totally avoid sugars and avoid snacks. And when you take rice, take less of rice and more of vegetable.
Fine, perfect.
This
So
much,
one more question.
unless your blood sugar is 400 or 500, if your blood sugar is 200, if you follow these two steps, it will automatically, you will have a HbA1c of 6 to 6.5.
Thanks. So
Yeah.
we have only 5 more minutes for discussion.
Yeah.
So one more question to Dr. Roshan.
Yeah.
There are motorized toothbrush available, especially for kids with the different
Okay.
models. Is
Yeah.
it good?
Scientifically speaking, motorized toothbrushes are not recommended for kids or for adults if they have good hand movement. If the hand movements are very good, it is not recommended. It is scientifically proven also not recommended. Okay. Good normal manual toothbrushing is better. If people have some motor ability issues, manual dexterity, what we call to hold a toothbrush or also something like that, the spastic children or special children or very old age people who have some shivering in the hand, some Parkinson's problem like that, then we recommend motorized toothbrush. Otherwise, motorized toothbrush is something like buying a new car. You are very excited initially to drive it, to use it. Over a point of time, 1 week, 10 days down the lane, it becomes like a routine habit. Okay, so you're not excited about it. Okay, so normally, scientifically, it is not recommended.
But the way you recommend is the movement is up and down, no, for brushing.
Yeah.
But practically, it is very difficult to do it. Where the motorized brush can do it, I feel. Is it not so?
No, nothing like that. It is just a habit. We need to learn it. Okay. So 45-degree angulation for a young adult, 45-degree angulation holding. That is what we always recommend you to stand in front of the mirror and brush. So you learn the technique correctly,
Okay.
you use it correctly, and you reinforce it, and then go ahead doing it in the right manner. That is how it is recommended.
Okay.
So if you
There is
watch
one
TV
question-
or something like that and do brushing, you will not be landing up doing it in the right way.
Yeah. That's a question from Mr. Suresh Iyer. Thanks to Dr. Roshan. And for white patches issues in the mouth, what is the immediate remedy?
Immediate remedy, we need to check with the dentist immediately. Okay. White patches, there are so many reasons for white patches. What is the type of white patch you have got? Okay. And the most commonest time, it could be because of a sharp tooth. If there is a sharp tooth, we need to grind that sharp tooth. If it is immunologically mediated or stress related, it is called lichen planus. In that case, we suggest some gels and ask you to reduce your stress factor. Then it becomes all right for you. Okay. So these are some indicators that there is some problem going on in your body. Okay. And always there is mouth has also a very close relation with the skin. Okay. Whenever there is some problem in the mouth, it can also reflect on your skin also. So oral and skin go very close to each other. Okay. So if there are some skin problems, you can see it shows in the mouth. If there are some mouth issues, it also shows on your skin. Okay. So they have a very close relation. So in case the dentist says you need to check with the dermatologist, you need to check with them also.
Fine. There is one question from Mr. Selva Kumar. Can the adolescent take hydroxychloroquine 200 milligram twice a week as a precautionary measure? I think
Dr. Vijay.
Okay.
Yeah. So we don't recommend any one to take hydroxychloroquine, especially who is not at risk or not a healthcare professional as per the guidelines. So we don't recommend. It is not for regular use or over the counter. You should not get it and use it.
Vijay Kumar also can highlight. Vijay Kumar, pediatrician.
Yeah,
Yes.
we don't recommend routinely. Even for healthcare workers, it's very troublesome. They say if you are keen to just take it, hydroxychloroquine, you can just take a baseline ECG. Make sure that nothing was normal. You can contact your physician. If it is okay, then you can just go ahead. So it can be as a prophylactic dosages or therapeutic dosages you can take, but they need a baseline ECG before you start. So if you are intended to take, so you have to consult your physician, then you have to just take it. You can't take by your own without it.
No, can I
It's
add
just you're not
2 more
monitoring it.
points?
Yeah.
So
Yes, Bruno.
basically, the complication with hydroxychloroquine is something called torsades equines. That is a ventricular arrhythmia. that is the heart rate becomes irregular. So why it happens is when the when the heart rate is above 100, the chance of heart rate become irregular increases with this drug. So now basically this drug has been given to those people with arthritis, and it was there is it was relatively safe. How it was safe for those with arthritis, but it is producing complication with the young people is those with arthritis, that is severe arthritis, they won't even be having knee pain, joint pain. They will not move very fastly. They will move very, very slowly. So when those people, the pulse will be 70 to 80. So when those people with pulse 70 to 80 take this hydroxychloroquine, they were not having any side effect. But when they started giving it to the people in the 20s and 30s who are just climbing the stairs very rapidly. So what happened when a person who is climbing the stair very rapidly is momentarily the heart rate crosses 100. You will not be even aware unless you have a watch and you measure your pulse. So momentarily the heart rate becomes 100, and at that point, in the presence of hydroxychloroquine in the blood, the patient goes for sudden cardiac arrest. So essentially, how a drug which is being given left and right for those people above 60 years with knee pain for decades suddenly produces complications when given to 20 and 30-year people is the chance of heart rating becoming more than 100. So end of the day, don't take it. This is the one word advice. You will never know.
It's safe.
Unless you have been already taking it for years for your rheumatoid arthritis. If you have not taken hydroxychloroquine in the past, please don't take it. It is more dangerous than corona.
Thanks. One question from Mr. Sivan. How to control children's aggressive behavior? So Dr.
Okay.
Vijaykumar.
Aggressive behavior, it's all inducer. So definitely it's over pampering effect in kids by parents, grandparents, and surrounding people that will increase more aggressive behavior. The kids are not at all aggressive by their own. They are made to do. So everything was offered immediately and nothing was refused. The kid will be happy. Okay, when you refuse certain things, or you just control them, or you just make them stop something, they are more aggressive. So these are all some characteristic behavior nowadays the new era kids are coming through. Okay, so it's all just how we just rear the kids, how you just tune them or train them to just happen in the near future or anything else. So it comes by practice. Okay, the parenting attitude has to be changed. The kid can't be changed immediately. We need to just have some modification in their day-to-day routines and other things, and we should have a control. And they behave aggressively, something was refused, and what they want something else. So it depends on the situation, what is happening. My kind advice is it's a parenting should be changed a lot. Nowadays, even the grandparents are spoiling the kids because they are giving more pampering effect more than the parents, and the kids are getting more aggressive. So there are a lot of issues which is happening because of rearing issues, because the perspective of parents and grandparents are changing towards the child rearing practices. So a lot of things has to be changed, and we should not everything blindly offer to them because they are crying and they'll be having tendency to just cry or being aggressive. So we try to avoid in a gentle way so that, or we can just divert them what they need, so that that part of thing, aggressive behavior, can be addressed. The kid is more aggressive and their behavior is totally abnormal. Better nowadays, we want the child psychologist or the child development clinic has to be contacted, and we need to have some behavioral changes. We have some counseling session for kids and the parents both, so that can be addressed in a better way.
Okay, shall I add a point?
Yeah, tell me,
Yes,
sir.
please.
So what I have been observing is, of course, this is anecdotal, is the how we behaved. Actually, me, Vijay sir, Roshan sir are all same generation, 1 or 2 years different. So how we behaved with our parents, we cannot expect our kids to behave in the same way with us for various reasons. First and foremost, this is generally I'm taking, there may be exceptions. Kids these days have more IQ and less emotional quotient. Okay, a 13-year-old kid, for example, has an IQ of a 16-year-old or 17-year-old kid, but that is the 10th standard kid has a IQ of a college third year boy, but has a emotional maturity of a 5th standard kid. This is I am seeing across the board. There may be exceptions because now they are spending more and more time with their gadgets. They are getting lots and lots of information because they are reacting with a computer. They are able to, their IQ gets sharpened because they are playing games. They are reacting with the computer. They are reading a lot. Their intellect is very high. But at the same time, since they are not reacting with the humans as much as our generation did, their emotional quotient is less. So if your kid will behave intellectually, your kid will behave like a 12th standard student. And when the parent deals the kid like a 12th standard student, emotionally the kid behaves like a 5th standard student, and the parent gets confused. The parent becomes aggressive and the kid becomes aggressive. So what I say is, don't assume that your any kid. I am saying you can just you just observe it among your friends, classmates, relatives, or your patients. Any kid, don't assume that the intellectual maturity and emotional maturity is same. Emotional maturity in this generation is very, very less. You understand this, and I think it will be very easy to deal with that.
You superbly nailed it, Bruno. Very simply, you have nailed it to the public very nicely. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
Thank you.
One more thing. From ENT's perspective, child with snoring and sleep disturbance can also have aggressive behavior and emotional disturbance.
Because of hypoxia, they have some issues.
Because of the hypoxia, and basically, snoring child with these kind of activities has to be evaluated. That's what the takeaway message. And a couple of more questions. With that, we will conclude. Mr. Tyagarajan Selvaraj has how frequently brushes to be changed, and any recommendations for toothbrushes? I think I already told. Can you explain them?
Yeah, a toothbrush ideally has to be changed once in 2 to 3 months. Okay, not less than that. If, in that case, if you are changing very frequently, you are having a problem with your toothbrushing technique. Okay, recommended company, I would like to, at this point, I would recommend one company which only manufactures toothbrush is my strong recommendation always. So Oral-B is the only company which only manufactures toothbrushes and not any other product. Okay, so other companies, they make toothpaste, toothbrush, everything. So they are a little more scientifically evaluated and little more, they make a lot of, scientific intricacies are looked into before the toothbrush comes into the market. Okay, so Oral-B will be my recommendation at this point.
And one more question on that aspect is the benefits of using Ayurvedic paste, or how to choose the paste. You said about some fluoride content. And also somebody was thinking about the green color box, red color mark. So that's also, people are a little confused on that aspect.
These are all a lot of marketing gimmicks and to initiate some controversies. Okay, so basically, if you are a vegetarian, it's better to have that green marked toothpaste, but nothing like, it doesn't mean that a green marked toothpaste is completely animal free product is used. Okay, so
it's chemical free or something else. The more black, they say it's chemical.
No, the charcoal, the active salt, all those things are not scientifically proven to be of good benefit to the oral health. All these charcoal variety, the active salt, and preferably avoid gel varieties, because every toothpaste will have an abrasive in it. Gel varieties have more abrasives, so you're not supposed to use gel varieties. Preferably a plain opaque white type of toothpaste is the best recommended toothpaste. And if you see the packing, it will be given fluoride containing toothpaste. Whether it is an Ayurvedic toothpaste, whether it's a normal allopathic toothpaste, not a problem. You can use whatever you wish to. But the toothpaste should contain fluoride. That is 1000 to 1100 ppm for adults, 500 to 600 ppm for kids. If that is not there, that toothpaste has to be put in the dustbin. That's it.
Fine. One more question. How about fruits for diabetes? Dr. Bruno, are you online?
Yeah, I am online.
Yeah.
What's the question? Foods that boost up
fruits. What are the fruits you recommend for a diabetic? Because always they feel that fruits are having a lot of sucrose and carbohydrates, and they try to avoid fruits. So what are the fruits do you recommend for diabetic people?
Actually, avocado, that is butterfruit, and lemon and unripe guava are relatively safe. Okay. Avocado, butterfruit, unripe guava, lemon, these are relatively safe. And even otherwise, even other fruits, suppose you want to take a fruit, you take it. But make sure that you are taking it along with the tablet. So we cannot give one solution for all. It depends upon what is the HbA1c level, what is the control. So essentially, I don't think that you have to avoid anything totally, because it comes to a philosophical question. Why you are getting treated for diabetes? Control the blood sugar. Why you want to control the blood sugar? You want to eat everything. So essentially, I don't think that unless it is a very complicated diabetes in the ketoacidosis range, fasting sugar 300, 400, etc., I don't think you need to be very strict. But at the same time, what is needed is you have to maintain a very regular lifestyle. Suppose you are going to a marriage, fast the previous day. It is called intermittent fasting or 1 meal a day regime, which is scientifically proven. Suppose you are every day in your home, you are eating only say almonds or only peanuts, you are able to follow more of a low carb diet. Tomorrow you are going to the marriage, tonight you just take lime juice and sleep. Tomorrow, because this insulin secretion happens, insulin is secreted in the globules and stored in the islet cells. And then when there is a stimulus in form of glucose, it is released into the blood. So it is stored in the production itself. It is produced and stored and released in stimulus. Suppose if you are not using the insulin tonight, and you are giving when you are giving a glucose overload the next day, your pancreas will cope up. So that is one day, but you cannot repeat it again and again. So essentially, it all comes to a very regular lifestyle. It is not that you have to avoid everything and eat a tasteless food. That is not the core concept. All we need to do is we need to understand the simple science behind it, understand which are the fruits which increase sugar levels, which are the fruits which don't increase sugar level, and have a balance between those things, and need not compromise on the taste as long as you take everything in the limited moderate quantity.
Fine, perfect. The last question to Dr. Vijay Kumar.
Yes, sir.
So the common problem where every parent will be facing is feeding the child, and especially the fruits. So as we were discussing about fruits, so what are the tips to increase?
Main thing, we just say the proper thing should be introduced between 6 months to 1 year. There the parents are failing to introduce lot of things or variety of foodstuffs during their introduction. So I advise babies which is less than 1 year or 6 months to 1 year, the parents are more provocative. They have to just give multitude of foodstuffs. They introduce everything, all type of foods into the baby's diet, because they are fear to introduce some fruits. Depends on the climate, timing. They want the teeth to be on for fruits or anything else. It's nothing. So they have to introduce from beginning. So they want to keep on continuing. And then it should not be a forced thing. So even the parents can be a role models. And if you are buying more fruits, getting in, and you are just cutting it and you are eating by yourself and you are sharing with the kids, that will give a better idea. So instead of putting them in a bowl, just eat, the kids won't eat definitely. So you can present in any way what they likes. It may be a multi-mixture of fruits or a fruit salads, or you can present in milkshakes, or anyway, the presentation can be changed. It's not only the whole fruit can be introduced. So whichever it can be done, we can just go ahead. Main thing I advise the parents should be role models. One thing, they have to buy and they have to eat by themselves. Then automatically it's there. If we see a multitude of fruits, first they are not buying again. They follow a monotonous one, 3 or 4 only. Even we, just what we get it is only 3 or 4. So the numbers is not at all increasing. So we tend to have the habit of buying a good thing, and we need to just make them, and it has to be there. If father is cutting and giving, no child will refuse. Because if from the mother's side, again, it's a struggle hard, because every time mother is forcing something to do anyway. So the parent, even the other parent is also equally involved, and we can become role models. So definitely we can just make it, but don't make it as a forcible thing. So it can be a pleasant and gentle thing, and we need to just give it in a pacifying way so that the kids will accept things. But we have to keep on trying. Who is refusing, they are not taking regularly. So you have to keep on trying the same one in different formulations, different way, what the kid can just take it, you can just introduce, and we can able to make it.
Fine, perfect. Thank you so much to all the speakers. And I would like to remind again about the next week's program. We are going to have discussion on ear, eye, and skin with 3 speakers on 14th of June. I would ask Dr. Roshan Ryan to say a few words and to conclude.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for all.
Thank you all the speakers for a wonderful discussion we had today. Thank you, Vijay, for the wonderful moderation you did. Picked up the right questions for everybody. And a big thanks to Srinivasan, who is my friend here. He's a back-end, a lot of work he's been doing for the presentations, for the ID creations, for the posts and all those things. He's a financial planner. Many would have listened to his talk also. A big thanks to Srinivasan also. And a big thanks to all the listeners patiently being here. Thank you one and all. See you next Sunday, 11 to 12, same time, same place, and with a different topic on health awareness series.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Yes.
Doctor, we can wait some more minutes.
Yeah.
Participants will leave, and we can.
Okay.
Discuss.
Yeah. Participants remove பண்ணி விட்டுருங்க டாக்டர் மிஸ்டர் சீனி.
Yeah.
Yes, done.
Yeah.
Hope it went on well.
Yeah, it went on well. It went on well.
ஆக்சுவலா நம்மளுக்கு இந்த ஐடி மாத்தாம இருந்தா இன்னொரு 15-20 பார்ட்டிசிபென்ட்ஸ் கூட வந்திருப்பாங்க.
சாரி, லாஸ்ட் மினிட்ல ஒரு சின்ன கன்ஃபியூஷன். டாக்டர் அவங்க மெசேஜ் போட்டிருந்தாங்க, அவங்க ஏதோ மெடிக்கல் எமர்ஜென்சின்னு சொல்லி ஹாஸ்பிடல் போயிட்டாங்களாம்.
அப்படியா? சரி. ஒரு சம் கன்ஃபியூஷன் அதான்.
ஓகே. சோ நெக்ஸ்ட் வீக் வந்து இந்த ப்ராப்ளம் இல்லாம ஒரு சேஃபான ஐடியில நம்ம பே பண்ணலாம்.
Okay. Next week, why don't you do it as YouTube live அந்த மாதிரி ஏதாவது?
அப்படியா? அது எப்படி போறது? அது எனக்கு தெரியாது அத பத்தி. ஓகே.
யூடியூப் லைவ் நம்ம ட்ரை பண்ணலாம் ஜி. ஒரு செஷன் வேணா நம்ம இனிஷியலா ட்ரை பண்ணி பார்த்துட்டு ஒரு மார்க் செஷன் மாதிரி பண்ணிட்டு,
ஆமா,
then we can take it to the call. யூடியூப் என்னோட ஐடி இருக்கு, ரோஷனோட ஐடி இருக்கு. ஸோ பட் யூடியூப்ஸ் பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் என்ன ஒரு சேலஞ்ச் இருக்குன்னா, கொஸ்டின்ஸ் வந்து நம்ம ஆன்சர் பண்றது கொஞ்சம் டிஃபிகல்ட்டா இருக்கும்னு நினைக்கிறேன்.
ஸோ எப்படின்னா யூடியூப்ல அதுலயே சாட் பாக்ஸ் இருக்கு, அதுலயே அவங்க கொஸ்டின் பண்ணலாம்.
ஸோ சரி ஓகேங்க.
இவங்க சார் வந்து இஎன்டி கிளாஸ் ரூம் ஒன்னு நடத்துறாரு, அதுல யூடியூப்ல தான் அவங்க லைவா போவாங்க ஆக்சுவலா. ஓகே.
ஆனா அதுல வந்து எப்படி பண்ணுவோம்னா, we have a website for that. அந்த வெப்சைட்ல யூடியூப் லிங்க் பண்ணிருக்கோம். ஸோ அதுல வந்து கொஸ்டின் வந்து கொடுக்கறதுக்கு ஒரு ஃபார்ம் இருக்கும், அதுல பார்ட்டிசிபென்ட்ஸ் வந்து ஃபில் பண்ணலாம். ஆனா பார்ட்டிசிபென்ட்ஸ்க்கு வந்து மற்றவங்களோட கொஸ்டின்ஸ் யார் இருக்காங்கன்னு தெரியாது. ஆனா யூடியூப் லைவ்ல வந்து அதுவும் யூடியூபால தான், ஆனா தனி ஒரு விண்டோக்குள்ள அந்த யூடியூப் இருக்கும்.
ஓகே
இது யூடியூப் லைவ்ல வந்து சிம்பிள், வெப்சைட் தேவையில்லை. அதுல வந்து சாட்ல வந்து யார் யார் பார்ட்டிசிபேட் பண்றா, ஒருத்தர் இப்போ இந்த இதுல சாட் பாக்ஸ்ல ஒவ்வொருத்தர் கேள்வி கேட்கறது எல்லாருக்குமே தெரியும் இல்லையா?
ஆமா ஆமா
அந்த மாதிரி அதுலயும் தெரியும்.
ஓகே
ஆனா இண்டிவிஜுவல் வெப்சைட் இப்போ நீங்க மக்கள் நலன்கிற சைட்டுக்குள்ள நீங்க யூடியூப் லைவ் கொண்டு வந்தீங்கன்னா வேற யாருக்கும் தெரியாது.